What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Con blog, coming to you from a beautiful 80 degrees in Austin, Texas, Saturday. I'm in here. I'll put my owner be owned shirt on to rep Andre Hatchett's brand and other people, black owned by black. And I said, let me bring a diverse group of speakers to the audience. We have, again, myself, and then we have David Diamond. As you guys know, we're full of diamonds over here. We've got Diamond Dave, who's over stocks, and we have David Diamond, who's over business and credit funding in California. And then we went all the way to Philly. It's probably still cold in Philly. He's still probably freezing, but that's okay because we're gonna come get some Philly steaks later this summer. Mr. Cameron Ellis.
Camari.
Oh, listen, y'all. Y'all know
You need some coffee.
I'm from the South. I got a speech impediment. They didn't teach me no words, no letters.
See, I knew you needed some coffee.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself, Mr. Ellis, and then Mr. David Diamond. Let you guys introduce yourself in that order.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Camari, also called the Finance Rebel, here on YouTube and all other places. I'm tongue-tied here. I need some coffee myself. I'm a tax advisor with over 25 years of business experience and tax and financial advising experience. Me and Ericka get to hang out a lot, chop it up a lot, share some views, get into a little bit of trouble here and there, but for the most part, it's all for the good of the people and the culture.
Love it, love it. And Mr. David Diamond, talk to us. Introduce yourself and where are you located in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. David Diamond, located in San Diego, California, specialized in credit funding, especially on the education side, and the service side as far as credit. Been in finance probably 13 years. And, been on Ericka's platform a few times. I always enjoy when I do come on here. So I'm interested in talking about what she's got on the table tonight.
Mr. Ellis, they call him the voiceover guy.
You know what? I think I'm gonna get me some voiceover coaching because everybody keeps telling me that.
You need to go ahead and get that voice acting in. Cree Summer living her best life ever since Different World came out. All right, you guys. So you guys know how this video is going to go down. We're going to break down this video. I actually have the clips and we're going to show them and share the screen. So I'm going to put us off to the left-hand side for this. And go ahead and share the screen.
Fair use.
Fair use, fair use. We're going to breaking this thing down very carefully. If everybody can see the screen, make sure you hit a 1 in the comments. I want to make sure everybody is seeing this screen.
Today, Black people make up the second largest group of millionaires in the U.S., but it's nearly 1.5 million people.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and give you guys a disclaimer. DW, who recorded this documentary, is a German company. And what I've found over the years is that other outsiders do a better, let me be careful here, better description of Black people than actual American media.
Yes.
Al Jazeera, everybody else will come over here. They'll interview us. They'll go into neighborhoods. They'll do underground studies. And we look a lot better on other people's networks than ours. And this is, again, a German documentary. So I'm going to reserve my feelings, and I want you guys to
well, let's talk about it. Isn't that why Baldwin left and went to France? And so many others?
Mm-hmm. This is true. It's true. Now,
it's documented.
David Diamond, now you're in California. And the way I felt like they tilted this was like, California's got all the rich Black people, but if we look at the numbers, no. We're on the East Coast and the Southeast rich.
Yeah, Diamond Cup Media. Yeah, we're in San Diego, California, downtown, and people are running from California a lot of the time to go into states like Texas, Nevada, Georgia. So states that have traditionally been red states. So when they said that part about, it's so surprising that being successful in red states, I was like, well. People are intentionally running to red states, so it was kind of backwards. That logic was kind of like flipped. That was kind of weird to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the first thought I had. Was like coming from out here, seeing everybody leave. Okay, so, yeah.
a big thing people didn't pay attention to also is 1 in 50. Like, so people like the Bureau of Labor Statistics say most black people only make $30,000, $40,000 a year. And I go, but 1 in 50 of us don't.
Mm-hmm.
1 in 50 of us are doing well. How come we never hear about those folks? We always hear about athletes. We overhear about musicians.
Mm-hmm.
We seldom hear, right? Like if I look on Fox every day, they're gonna show me Baltimore and Chicago every day.
Yeah,
Every day.
I never heard that stat. I never heard that stat in my life.
Right?
There's
And
a lot
so,
of us getting money, but sadly, they only
right.
want to show Oprah and Jay-Z, Gail occasionally.
You know what's funny? Robert is a billionaire, but they show
Robert
Oprah
Smith.
more. Yeah,
Yep.
Robert Smith is a billionaire. There's also another black dude in America who's a billionaire. I'm going to a conference called
The
Fun
tech guy.
Launch. No, it's not a tech guy. It's a he's actually African, but he came to America and he's like the number one like money raising fun launch dude. Like he's going to be like the number third, on this list. But we don't even acknowledge him because they're like, well, he's African and he came to America, but he made his success here. And so if I find his name, I'll definitely bring it up and put it in the comment section because I just go, there's a ton of people who are uber successful. We don't even hear about them, right?
There is another brother though,
Mhm.
and I believe he was born here. I don't believe he was born in Africa. That made a boatload of money in tech. I'm almost certain, and I'll try to find his name as we go through the broadcast.
Mhm.
Was he
And-
on Shark Tank before? Was he on Shark?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I actually kind of stopped watching Shark Tank.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I
Robert.
still enjoy it a little bit, but it got too predictable.
Do you know who I'm thinking of? The Robert brothers out of Chicago. They're older. They're
Well,
they're
they're
very
out of
light
St. Louis.
Yes.
They're out
St. Louis.
of St. Louis. They own hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of them is like investing a ton in Africa. That's what I was trying to do. We never talk about them. We never talk about them either. And so and the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of unfortunately here I'm gonna show the screen here. Let me see if it'll let me. It may not. The reason I keep bringing this up is because I find that the first thing people said about Mr. Peoples, and we're going to go there next. Oh, well, he's not even black. He's mixed. And I go, come on now, y'all. Come on now, y'all. Like, let's stop. Anywhere this man goes, if he walks into any other room, guess what they're going to say to him? You're black.
So when the Klan
Well,
comes,
I believe he has his father is dark skinned and his mother is mixed.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of black people like that.
A lot of them. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna show you these brothers' faces so y'all can see.
but
what
when
I'm
the
talking
Klan
about.
comes, all they want to know is their one drop. So
Yeah. So I really get this is very sad that that's how people reacted. Hold on. I wanted to put. Let me see. Stop here. Sorry, y'all. Technology. See if it'll put. Can y'all see this? Let me know if y'all can see it on your screen.
Yep.
Okay, good. This is the two brothers. They're worth $1 billion. And they're very like, I am black. What's the other Dr. Frazier? Dr. Frazier. There's a black politician in North Carolina that he looks like Dr. Frazier's twin. And people be like, he's black. Yes, he's black. And we used to joke in North Carolina, we call it Virginia black when somebody could pass, but they don't. But these men are from St. Louis. They grew up in black.
There's another big time real estate black man, Victor McFarlane. He actually got an award at my alma mater not too long ago, which is the University of Southern California. He's real big in real estate. I think his portfolio is somewhere above $7 billion. And they own the largest, they're building it right now in Los Angeles. It's going to be the tallest building in the Western United States. Donahue Peoples and Victor McFarlane joined together to make that happen. So they own that building. So that's really big too. So that's another person to think about as far as who research. He doesn't come out to the media very much. I don't think he really wants to be bothered like that as far as the media or getting on Forbes or whatever his girl. He stays in the shadows, but he's He's
There
really
you
made
go.
it.
It's the guy who
Yeah.
founded Calendly. And you know he didn't say he was a black-owned business. He just was Calendly. Kept it real low key.
Yeah.
Very low
I
key.
I found out on accident when I went to that tech website where you can see everybody's like how much capital raise they are and all this kind of stuff. I found that out on accident. I was like, hey, did you know the guy who founded Calendly is you know, is the black-owned company? I had no idea. So I found out on accident. It seems like that's kept really low key.
Yeah, they just want to do the business. Now, Ericka,
Yeah.
the gentleman I was referring to is David Stewart.
David Stewart. Okay.
Oh
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
He worldwide technology. He's approximately worth $4 billion. Real low key as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of us getting to the bag, making real impact, real money, getting to generational wealth.
Yeah, and before we even get into this, this guy's name is Failed Financial Advisor. Interesting. Montgomery County, Maryland, some parts, Georgia, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama. That's black old money and government pension money. I'm a Southerner, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody up north, but in the South, like literally, my grandpa owned a jute joint and a farm. Like, literally, there's business owners all over the South. It's not always old money. On the other side of my family, I've made this very clear and known on the internet.
Well,
they own plantation.
But technically, everywhere he named is down south. I know you're going to disagree, though.
No. He was saying Montgomery County, Maryland is his first part.
That's down south.
Man,
that's
both
why
y'all.
That's why I said I need to disagree. Listen,
yeah.
I'm the Northern Yankee here, right? It's below
Virginia,
the Mason. It's
Virginia
below
and Maryland
the Mason,
are on probation.
But it's below the Mason-Dixon line, so I call it the South. It's the start.
It's true.
I know if you go to Alabama and down where your folks are from, they're not gonna give the credit. I get it.
I had to do that. No worries, sir. I'm just addressing it as we see it. So anyway, let me go on down. Let me go on and finish some more on this video. Okay, so that was the intro. So they already started off pretty strong. I wish y'all stopped lying. Maryland is crab legs north. Y'all better stop. It's the disrespect we will not tolerate. Anything above DC is crab legs north. I'm sorry. And lobster north, lobster Maine. It's all the same to me up there. Once you get above DC.
There's a difference between there and lobster Maine. There's a big difference. But you know what, though? I think it's interesting that most folks don't realize that the majority of black people actually live in the South, though.
Yeah.
So when we think about wealth, we think about East Coast, we think about West Coast, but we don't think about the South, to your point earlier.
Right. I will say this. The Maryland folks that say two twos and some twos, that is not Southern. That is Maryland. Stop it. Now, number two,
Mason-Dixon.
Number one population for black people in this country is New York. Number two, New York, the state, actually, not New York, the city. Number two is Texas. And then number three is the other southern states. And I think people forget that. So when people say they're surprised black people are doing well in Texas, I'm always just shocked. I'm just always like, what? So let me go ahead. Listen, we're going to disagree about that Maryland all day. So let me go on to the next part.
Listen,
it's in the chat, in the comments. They wildin'. They wildin'. Y'all wildin' over there. He said, I'm from Texas, lived in Maryland 20 years. They consider themselves South, with many originate from Carolinas. Yeah, they may have escaped from South Carolina, but, they can have it, right? Okay. Let me see. All right, let's go ahead and hit it. Hit the button. We'll get to the next part, because, this is where people gotten a little tuffle.
I didn't like the bougie comment, or the bourgeoisie comment.
Yeah, that's different. You
remember? Yeah, I was like, what? But I knew what they were trying to say, but I don't think they realize it's a negative connotation.
Oh wait, sorry. I realize it's not sharing. the audio. Hold on, sorry.
Gotta click the button.
I know. As soon as I did, I said, "Wait a minute, they ain't even hearing it."
Listen, I forget to do that all the time.
All the time. All right, here we go.
That he'll have it finished this weekend.
Peebles is a property developer and one of the richest African Americans in the United States.
700 million net worth. Now I'm gonna go ahead. A little comment here. If I see a woman walk across the street And then I tell her, hey, come with me to New York. That's a little bit of tricking. That's a little bit of tricking. And I ain't hating on it, but it is.
He went after what he wanted.
Hey, you see somebody, hey girl, what's up? What's your name? Now, here is my issue a little bit with Don Peoples is he was in Florida, then he moved to New York. I find if he would have go ahead and finish out that 300 mil. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and finish out some apartment construction across the United States or something and hit that Billy. But I realize once they get to that level, it's a lot going on. So somebody was like, well, Kanye West is more richer than him. And I'm like, nah, yes and no, but valuations and stuff matters. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Kanye's numbers. I think they're rough estimates, but
thank you.
You know, that's not what the show's about today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people like Donahue actually will understate. So, like his actual portfolio, if you go to his website, is $8 billion. Now, he's not going to say, "Oh, I have all that personally. Come and tax me." Yeah. Right. So they have two different. One wants clout and wants a high valuation on things that are theoretical, and then one has hard assets that they don't want to claim as personal assets in a company. So, if anybody's probably richer or whatever, it's probably going to be Donahue Peoples understating and Kanye kind of overstating.
Right. Don Peoples actually come a long way from simple real estate agent to appraiser to major developer. She is light-skinned, folks. Let it go. and what I want people to understand
That's a stretch.
When I see pictures of people's parents from 1970s, you already got them janky cameras. You already got the photo been sitting getting sunbased. It's hard, right? And everybody may or may not remember the video I did on how we had a family member who went up to basically New York to pass for white. She ended up coming down to Philadelphia, and that's how we end up having family connections and ownership of properties in Philly area. And so the passing is a real issue. My thing is these people, parents are choosing not to pass, and they're marrying black. So to me, at the time frame of the times, that's a strong statement. So I just had to address that because that was the number one thing I saw in a lot of comments of this, and I was like, you guys are missing the whole point.
Well, that's what we have been programmed to be super fixated on race, right? And I'm the guy who's like super black, right? So that doesn't elude me though, because same thing with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Everybody's saying, well, she couldn't have made it here if she didn't have a white husband. And
that's like, no,
I don't think that's true. Because she got appointed by Obama. Originally with the sentencing and everything else, and so I don't know if that's the case. Now, does he help? Yes, I'm sure he does, just because of his position in life. But
listen, just having a husband helps. I don't know if the cat's out the bag yet, but having a husband helps. So David Diamond, do a lot of people come to you for, let's just be honest, let's have an honest moment before we get rolling with the rest of this. Do they come to you for fun and be like, hey man, David, I really need funding to get this business off the road. I need funding to build a bunch of real estate. Or do they say, hey, I need funding so I get a new car?
The majority talk about actually wanting to get some type of business going.
Okay.
The real estate is probably the most common thing I hear. But the issue always comes up of credit. So it ends up being more a credit conversation than, hey, we're going straight to the bank conversation. It ends up being an education conversation, and that's why it's more education based as opposed to just straight service based, which I used to do. But yeah. So yeah, not too many people. I've had about maybe 2 guys. As soon as they came to me, we were talking about cars. But other than that, yeah, it's mostly people actually talking about wanting to put something together and just need the education and foundation. Yeah.
Y'all are hilarious in here. The comments are off the wall, but I love it. It said bourgeois is a French word. The communists made it negative, and many blacks from 40s and 50s adopted Marxist beliefs. When I watch old movies, yes, I agree on that part.
But it's 2022.
They still using that word.
Well, I think my thing about it is I think the bourgeoisie, when you say the black bourgeoisie, that's more in reference to class, like just straight class, not necessarily money, but class, which they're kind of different. They're related, but they're different. When you're talking about just making money in the modern time, like somebody who's nouveau riche, okay, basically, I don't know everybody's background, but kind of like a lot of us, like we're new to this kind of thing. That's not necessarily the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie would that makes me think of like, the people like us type of scenario.
Well said. Well
Yeah.
said.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think the whole Donald Trump thing is whenever you try to come do development in New York is what I think is where that comes from. Or people are lazy, honestly. I hate when people say, oh, you're the black this. So someone's been saying this in my comments. It's been about 3 black men and it drives me crazy. Oh, Ericka, you're the black Aaron Clary. I've been on YouTube as long as Aaron Clary. I'm a woman.
I don't even know what that is.
You know what I mean? And that's what drives me crazy about some of these spaces is y'all.
But we're conditioned to do that. I mean, think about rap, right? I'm the black John Gotti. I'm the black whatever. Like it's happened. It's been happening for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So let's push it a little bit on this video. We're not doing the whole video, y'all. We're doing segments, but I want to finish this segment and then go on to the.
There's a good point that's about to come up.
I know.
Yeah.
It's important. You need to hear this.
Did you ever feel any scrutiny to marry a white woman?
No, I mean, I'm married who I love.
All right. So, we have those work-life balance, folks. You need the work-life balance and you take a break so let's talk about it. Give me some feedback on what you just heard there, y'all.
Well, can I go back for a minute?
Oh yeah, you feel free. Do what you do.
So one of the biggest things here, and I want to shout out the failed financial advisor because he said something about Reginald Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
And so Don People said he believes he can do whatever he wants. And so Reginald Lewis was very, very much on that caliber, right? And I got this book right here talking about Reginald Lewis. I'm actually about to do a YouTube video on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a big key that many of us miss because so many of us have been programmed to believe that we're less than, that we're not worthy, that we're not smart, that when it comes time to go and do things, to achieve certain things, we have this thing in the back of our mind that says we're not worthy, and we believe it. And I blame part of it on Willie Lynch, even though Willie Lynch was a fictional character, the doctrine's still true. So I always say Willie Lynch did a great job lynching our minds. But Peoples said that clearly. And Kanye says the same thing. And I like Kanye's music. I do not like Kanye's political and quote unquote BS philosophical rants. But people who do great things believe in themselves. They have high self-esteem. And I don't think that should be missed.
All right. Go ahead, David Diamond.
Which point?
You said there was something important. You said there was something important that you
said.
No,
when I said there was a good point that's about to happen, I meant like what do you call like a racy point? Not necessarily good or bad. I was saying good for the internet.
For sure. I like that her mom said that to her though.
Yeah, about the people
what their occupation is. It's important.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to touch on, maybe I'll touch on work-life balance. I don't think there's much work-life balance for a while. I think that comes later. When people start things, I don't think they should go in and thinking that they're going to get a balance because you're not going to get a balance. I think it's best to just understand that's going to be painful for a while.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Vickers got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my whole thing. I think that was a good point. Aside from that, I don't really want to touch it.
For sure. No worries. I feel you. Sorry.
Psyche Terry's staff includes a diverse group of employees. The African American community spends nearly 9 times more on hair and beauty products than any other group.
And pause. Did everybody hear that? African Americans spend 9 times as much on hair and makeup products than any other community. Now, when I tell y'all, every time I hear them say, because there's another part to this, oh, Black community has a 1.6 trillion spend rate. This is a dog whistle to other people who want to sell to Black people. They will spend it. That's what I keep telling you. Every time I hear it, they say 1.6 trillion spending. That's not for us. That's not for us to be proud. That is for companies who want to sell to Black people to sell it. Okay, that's what that means. Just want to clarify. First of all, he's a baseball player. Look at his wife. She's beautiful. Okay, look at her husband. He's a good-looking man. He's in financial services. People skip over it. It matters who you marry and if they got a head on their shoulders. This whole phenomenon that like she just got to be hot and she can be the brain of a 4-year-old. No, that's not gonna work, brother. That's not gonna work. If you pick somebody, you got to pick them. They got to be able to breathe and walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay, so I'll let y'all attack this. Let me know what you think.
I mean, I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope that her husband backed their play, right? Because if we want to talk about the relationship angle, technically now she's the breadwinner, right? So does that invalidate his worthiness, his manhood? Can he not bring anything to the table? Because that's always the thing. My woman can't make more money than me, but they're doing it together, and that for me, that's the thing. Like they're able to make it happen as a team, and that's the real benefit of marriage when you're doing it right. Whoever has a better idea, you back that idea. It's not competition between the two.
Hold on. Are y'all guys seeing us right now? Can you put a 1 in the comments? Hopefully YouTube didn't cut our live stream. Everybody refresh your screens. Everybody's on panel, just chill. Let me see. Everybody drop a 1 if you can still see us, still hear us. This is why we're dropping too much knowledge in the chat. It may be. Can y'all hear us? Oh, wow. Breaking this thing down very slow. Do you hear me? Can you see me?
I think I dropped the 1 in the chat.
Okay, y'all. Oh, man. Let me know. They're saying something happened to our live stream. The thought police might have came through. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, wow. It says stream unavailable. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. No, I can see us. You can see us now? Wow, it says stream unavailable. Let me see. What was it doing?
It's mad laggy. Let me see.
Okay. Stream suspended for policy violations. Oh, I see. Okay, we're back now. Wow. Yeah, they cut it for a second. They cut it for real. All right. So
unbelievable.
Look at, YouTube wants you to do reaction videos, but like these 30-second, 1-second silly mess. But okay. So let's go ahead and remove that. Oh, wow. Let's stop sharing immediately. All right. Somebody was I saw somebody do a reaction video that was taken down. Listen, I really believe, and I'm gonna say this clearly. Y'all are back now. Y'all can hear us. Skynet is with the shits. It's with the shits. And to be honest, this documentary only got 1 million views on YouTube. I just don't believe that. I believe this video. I believe this video should be at 5 million views. So, YouTube's with the shits. Now we can talk about it. It cut us before we got to the next part, right? The next part was really I was going to talk about is Maggie Anderson. She is the Buy Black author, where she spent a year trying to buy black, and she wrote a book on it. Thank you so much. Lift it up. Our Black Year. Yeah, they got that. They cut that stream. YouTube was not playing. So I may have to go back and see if I can chop this a little bit anyway. But my biggest thing I want y'all guys to understand is that $1.6 trillion spending, that money's going places. So, but both of y'all watch the video so we can talk commentary on it without showing it right now. Woo! So talk to me, Mr. Talk to me, y'all. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I'll say this about 1.6 trillion, right? And we talked about this before. When you average out 1.6 trillion, it's like 30 grand a person. And you know, this is simple math. We're not accounting for children and all that. Just stuff 30, 40 grand. So it's not really a whole lot of money. But what a lot of people don't realize is that that number also incorporates credit. So we're not just talking about earning power, we're talking about credit too. And so anytime we're looking at just pure spending and not the wealth numbers, I think it does present a little off, but it lets us know that we're not doing what we need to do. Because anytime we look at that 1.6 trillion, and Maggie Anderson, because I've interviewed her several times, has done studies to show that we're only spending 2% of our money, 2% out of that 1.6 trillion with other Black-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. That shows that we're not doing something correctly. So that's why I can appreciate that figure. I get what you're saying, mm-hmm. right? Like don't get so head over heels with that big T. But when we are not spending that big T with our people, it's just really a little T. And so we're just out here on big wheels, but we haven't graduated to, you know, the big bicycle and the big motorcycle that we could be on. Well,
part of why I wanted David Diamond to come on too is I wanted his thoughts on the banking issues. You know, Wells Fargo, you know, I'm sick of Wells Fargo, but I'm sick of them. And I literally get emails from people saying, "Oh, that's my bank, Ericka." I'm like, why? So, you know, these people, they basically make it seem like all Black people got bad credit, and that's why they didn't get financed, or their debt to income ratio was crazy, and that's why they didn't get financed. And I just saw it as, I'm sorry, if somebody's making $60,000 and I'm making double their income in a country where most people only make 30-some K a year, you better be cutting me a check. And I've actually been in a bank and said this. I said, dude, I made $450,000. You're going to tell me I'm not qualified for this small $150K thing? I said, I make more than 10 times the national average. And the dude was like, you're right. He couldn't even explain it. He literally recommended me to another bank. He couldn't explain it. I said, my score's a 730 at that time.
But there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors with banking and loans. But I don't want to step on Dave. I know that's his specialty. So,
well, yeah, there's banking is one thing, but racism is another. So,
I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to fight for that racism. Please.
No, you're not. No, there are guidelines and stuff that have to be hit, and that they're just going to look at. Both ones that they'll tell you about, ones that they won't. But yeah, I think when people get unnecessarily denied, I mean, it's obvious what that is. I've seen it, watched it. So, you know, also I've seen people get hyper scrutinized. Like somebody might have something small on their credit who's Black, and that'll kill everything. And then somebody who's not will have something small and they might let that go. So I don't know. Sometimes I've seen like a mix of both. Obviously, there's going to be discrimination in lending, but then there's also like very specific things in lending, like rubrics that are used on the inside that people aren't really privy to. So when you apply and you think everything is good, they might be able to disqualify you on little tiny stuff that there's no way you would have known in the first place. And so that's kind of the stuff that we get into in some of my programs, is just stuff like that, which can flip somebody from a yes to a no. I mean, from a no to a yes. But yeah.
What about, but all banks don't do everything too, right? Like, for example, there's some banks that won't deal with retail or restaurants. Right. So you have to understand which way the bank rocks. Now, just so I'm clear, I think the numbers show, like Wells Fargo's numbers as it relates to Black people were so egregious is crazy versus
Yeah.
everybody else. So there's a clear-cut case that they was doing some jankiness over there. But I'm just speaking about banking in general. Like you could have an 850 credit score, make $1 million a year cash. You're a restaurant, you go to a bank, but they don't do restaurants, and you might get denied.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't understand the nuance of that, and then they'll just say, "Oh, that bank is racist," or yada yada yada. So it's deeper than that. So that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's true too.
So, but that last piece, I did appreciate the lady in Texas, because she talked about how her and her husband, they are the living embodiment of Black excellence. And they were not afraid to say that they were Black and they were excellent. I mean, because I actually identify with that myself. I think all of us who are looking to be upwardly progressive, helpful in our communities, helpful with our families, have to breathe, walk, talk, and eat excellence all day long. And not to go to the whole point of when Black people do something, got to be 2 to 3 times better, because I do think that's traumatic in and of itself, but it's also very true. I think it's also very true.
Yeah, like it sucks that you have to say it, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So part of what I thought was important is that they were backed by someone that was Black and upper class. Now, the part you didn't see is I did already get my email from YouTube. The part you didn't see is they went to a banquet, and she goes to banquets almost they were saying they go to banquets like very often, right, for networking purposes and otherwise. And the person was like, well, there's not a lot of Black people in here, the documenter that's recording. And she goes, yeah, but they're out here. So then they switch it in the video to Atlanta, Georgia. Now they talk with Maggie, and Maggie, has the whole Black Year thing, but they switch it to Atlanta, Georgia, and they talk about how Georgia's capital is the second, which I'm skeptical of it, but Atlanta's capital, Atlanta, is the second largest place for upper class Black people to be.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's tied with PG County, Maryland.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
So they did that breakdown. And part of what I want people to notice is the guy who owns the warehouse, it was a very simple concept. It's the middleman to millions. He has a warehouse. He lets all these Black business owners put their stuff in the warehouse. And then he runs all this marketing, and he's talking to his staff about what did the social media say. And part of my argument all the time when people are like, Ericka, I want to start this business, how am I going to get this marketing? And I go, listen, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be on YouTube every day, but you're going to either pay for ads or you're going to be on somewhere. How will people know you how can people give you money if they don't know you? Right? They can't. Right. And so I think his concept is basically middleman to millions. He went and took a $350,000 check and took it to a Black bank. And he was driving a GMC truck, a regular old GMC truck. And that's what I wanted to point out in the video. Like, he's not driving a Lambo around. He's literally driving a truck, and he has a warehouse. He has money. And so
the millionaire next door.
Yeah. And the fact that the underwear he was showing was called Champ, right? And I like how they put their little logo on and stuff. They wear the stuff in the video. But big thing is, it's the marketing. It's the marketing, right? Because number one things people say in these videos when I do these videos is, well, I can't find any Black businesses. And I go, first of all, I'm not talking about restaurants. I'm not talking about Jenny's Pancake House. I'm talking about mechanics. I'm talking about contractors. I'm talking about people, plumbers, welders, roofers. I'm talking about all these levels and levels of stuff that you need, as the lady talks about in the Buy Black Year. Your doctor, your dentist, everything. Your eye doctor, everybody.
Your doctor, your dentist, your accountant, your lawyer, like you said, your mechanic, your insurance person. Black people are very, very well represented in those fields. Your real estate agent, Black people are very well represented in those fields. We don't have an excuse not to buy Black. We make that excuse up.
And the prime example, or reason I brought that up, they're like, well, you're in Austin. The number one commercial sales real estate lady here in Austin is Black. I didn't even know it until I went to a meeting. The guy was like, oh, you should totally meet this person. And I was like, man, why do they want me to meet her? They're like, well, she's the number one commercial blah, blah, blah in Texas. I was like, okay. I call her. We get on the phone. We have that, professional voice. then we code switched to our regular voice. And it was hilarious. And I was like super thrilled that I didn't know in the city of Austin that we make everything super white. Number one person is Black person. It's marketing. It's advertising. We just don't know.
It's mindset. Because a lot of these areas, again, like I was saying earlier, we automatically shut ourselves out from because it's a quote unquote white area or it's a quote unquote white profession. When we can be just as excellent, just as great, and make just as much money, if not more, than anybody else in that field. But we got to know it. We got to believe it. We got to really feel it in our bones. Not being woo-woo or anything like that, but I mean, there's enough evidence out there to show that. I mean, you just talked about it. Black woman in Austin is killing the game.
Number one. And it was recommended to me by a white man. He was like, she's like the number one. You should talk to her. She'll give you a call. And I was like, okay. Then I looked on LinkedIn. I was like, don't you feel dumb? Don't you feel dumb?
That reminds me of Jane Bond, who I brought. I used to do YouTube more. I gotta get back to YouTube, Ericka. I gotta quit playing and get back into it and take your class. But I brought her on, and she's like the highest performer and one of the highest performers in Florida, period, in the history of Florida. And then she's also in an almost all white area. She's the highest performer there in Naples. So she's a beast. And so, yeah, that kind of echoes, what the finance rebel was saying. So it's possible. You just have to really believe that. I think if you keep your goals high and you walk around every day, not really thinking about race first, but just thinking about what you want to accomplish first. And then you don't have to be, see, this is the thing. You don't have to be ignorant to racism, because I'm not. I deal with a lot of institutional racism, stuff like that. You don't have to be an ignorant fool, but you also have to, you can't put a blockade on yourself. And there's a fine line, right? You don't want to let what you know about the world kind of impede your own progress as a person in the interpersonal world that you're living in. And sometimes people have a hard time with dividing those things. That's the problem. So because they know that X, Y, and Z happens, oh man, that means I can't do this. How about, it's subconscious. You probably won't say it consciously. You say it to yourself subconsciously, and that's where it does the most damage. You just have to be, with me, I just feel like even keel. I feel like if I want to go do something, I'm just going to go do it, and then to see what happens. I'm not thinking that somebody's going to hit me first, and if they do, well, I guess it's going to have to be a fight then, or whatever it is.
Right.
So that's
Let's
I
have
think.
it.
Yeah, you just got to balance. You got to balance your thinking. Just because somebody is going through something doesn't mean that you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, also too, I think we're late to the game. This is something that I say a lot, and people get mad at me. But when I start talking about tech, people are like, "Oh, I'm 42. Is it too late? Too late?" I'm like, the average Black person is getting in tech in their 30s, late in the game. Like, there's a slew of data showing that we're getting into late in the game, nursing all of it. And so if you already have a group of people who are delaying 18 to 29, getting serious careers, getting married, having this particular structure, it'll put you far behind. But if you really look at a lot of, and I'm careful here, but if you look on a lot of Instagram stories where the couple's married and they were married right out of college, young, Black, by 31, they crazy millionaires. There's several people, the Pettyways, and I think they're in Lexington or Kentucky. They're in Louisville, Kentucky. They literally just, boom, start enrolling. And a lot of times I think we're delayed in the game because we're off being distracted for whatever reasons. And then when we do get in the game, we're like, oh, they're being racist against us. I'm like, is it, or is it you don't have the experience or track record? Right? So.
Good point.
Just some of the things there. But another thing I had on there is I had a problem with the Atlanta part.
You don't like Atlanta. You got beef with Atlanta. You got beef with Atlanta.
I go there.
They don't give Texas and North Carolina enough love.
I go to Atlanta and I'm like, all right, that's enough. I love it, and then I'm like, that's enough. 4 days. That's enough. I want to get an apartment there, but then leave immediately. The lady in the video she was selling. A guy was leaving from Florida. They didn't say why he was leaving Florida, but he was leaving Florida. He was coming to Atlanta because they want to be around more Black people. I've seen this guy's face on a million ads on Facebook and Instagram. They're in the financial space. Him and his wife were closing on a $1.7 million house. Right? They put an offer in. And she said, "Oh, this is entry level." I said, "Yes, in Atlanta." In Atlanta. Like, majority of the United States, Black people are, and let's just go there. Black people are only 42% home ownership. So 60% of us are renting. So when they're like, "Oh yeah, this is 1.7 mil, this is entry level house." No. This is a high level house for them. This isn't like New York or Washington, D.C. This is Atlanta. So to get 1.7 million is a big deal. And then she went and did a party, right? And she had a 5-year-old and a 7-month-old baby. And she wasn't married. And I was like, they're kind of playing up the stereotypes for the Atlanta story. That was my only issue. I just was like, why are we playing up? She's getting ready to go to the nightclub and have a big networking party. And I was like, easy here, easy. Thoughts on that? Either one of y'all.
I don't think I saw that part.
You didn't watch the Atlanta part?
No, I don't think I saw that part. I think, what's his name? Raheem for Reebok Black. I think his name's Raheem.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I saw a little bit of that, but I didn't see that part about the party.
So Raheem from the Reebok Black was minute 26 to minute 29. And he, showed the check at 32, where he went to the Black Bank in Austin, in Georgia. 33, minute 33, y'all. Was and she's a high-end real estate agent. Let's be very clear. She's a high-end real estate agent. She sold them this 1.7 million house, and she just made $50,000 essentially. So she was celebrating her, closing that house, and it was at a Black-owned restaurant, bar restaurant, and it was full of Black people in the room, and there was only one white lady. And of course, they interviewed her, and she was like, "I hate that they're all this focus on race." And I'm like, it's a documentary on race.
Yeah, I remember what part you're talking about. I know that I think if his name is Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
I like a point he made. Like, so the interviewer was coming out because he was showing that Black-owned toothbrush.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was like, "Where's it made?" He's like, "Oh, well, this particular product is made in China." And she's like, "Oh, were they Black Chinese?" Kind of taking a jab at him. And he was like, "Well, no, but actually, Chinese get all their raw resources from Africa." He's like dropped the mic into So I never heard that retort before. I thought that was a good comeback. But as far as the real estate thing, yeah,
German lady tried to do it.
Yeah, yeah. As far as the real estate one, I didn't really have like too many thoughts on it. I did notice that. I did notice the single mother narrative type of thing kind of slipped in there. But aside from that, I agree with you what you're saying. And I do think that for that area, for Georgia, for Atlanta, 1.7 million is good. I think in California, you did a regular house.
You probably get a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, you probably get a you probably honestly in some areas you honestly really might get a 2-bedroom, especially I saw a house in Point Loma, probably around that cost. I think it was 2 bedrooms. It happens. So yeah, in California, if she was out here in San Diego or if she was in Los Angeles or the Bay Area, yeah, 1.7 is entry level. It's entry level, like middle class entry level. But where she is, it's doing excellent. So yeah, I did notice that.
The only reason I brought that up about the stereotype, I know y'all think I'm pinpointing at her. What I said is the woman in Dallas, Texas, in the part of the video that we didn't show, it said they're making it in conservative states. Like, yeah, that's where they're going to make it.
It's like that's the advantage.
Right. What
advantage.
They shaped it as, look at this conservative married family making all this money in cosmetics, and then went Atlanta hoochie party, and went Atlanta.
But Georgia is a conservative state.
Not Atlanta. Atlanta
I
is
said
awesome.
Georgia.
Yeah.
And then it went Atlanta, single mom.
Shoot, Atlanta makes Georgia purple.
Now she had a trunk on her. I wasn't even on front. I was like, okay, girl, I see you. Sell that real estate. I can't hate when I see it. Okay. So overall, what's your thoughts on this documentary? Is it necessary? Is it true? You know, some people in my comments were like, focus on black people that are doing poorly. I'm like, we do that every week, y'all. The news does it every week. We talk about poor black people every week. You know, at some point we have to acknowledge 1 in 50 black people are doing well.
Yeah, that was big. I
At
did
some
not know
point we
that
have to
stat.
acknowledge, right?
Yeah.
We can't say everybody's out here scamming and everything's fake on the internet. Every day I'm meeting black people who are doctors. I went on a trip with 20 black people to Africa. I was me and one other person were the only internet people. The rest of them were doctors, HR, traveling nurse practitioners, and they were killing it. And they were like, how do we invest in blah, blah, blah? And I was like, yay, something I can talk about, right? And so they're traveling, they're living well, they have money. Those people exist. And so I just get really tired of like, well, Ericka, you should talk about how the world's falling apart and black people are struggling. And I'm like, but do
we
we
already
have
know
to?
that. But we already know that. Like, what's the next level? What do we want to push for? Right? Or are we just going to be just complacent in what we've been given? Right? What are we going to be intentional and proactive about going after and getting?
Right. Where can we move the story? Right? Because people are like, and there's some people, I ain't trying to get no beef with them. You know, we're doing so bad. Black people, we're doing so bad. And I go, but what's the solution? And then they get mad over there at that channel when you ask them, what's the solution? Because I started telling people about tech jobs that are paying so much. People are like, well, Ericka, everybody can't do a job. Okay, but we can do blue collar trades. They're paying well. You know, a big part of my audience, and it's not acknowledged here, is Hispanic folks. I get a lot of consult calls from Hispanic men and Hispanic women. They facing issues backlash too. But at the end of the day, where are we going? Where are we going? At some point, we have to say there's an opportunity for freedom. There's an opportunity for different options of living.
But freedom ain't free, so you got to be willing to fight and work for it. So what you want to sacrifice? And that's the question. That's the $1 billion question right there. But you know, it's not just tech. You have a lot of people in your community who are appliance repair folks.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Michael Sneed, he said, you know, people make $500 a day. That ain't no chump change. That ain't no chump change. You know, you can make a good living and have extra to invest. So, you know, I just think it's at some point we have to decide what narrative we want to buy into. That all black people are poor, all black people are rich, because there's a lot of them out there too, right? A lot of people who saying they got the bag, right? We know that that's BS too.
We know they got a car, and that's about it. They ain't got nothing else.
Right. But then there's the reality, like, all right, there's some of us that are doing bad, but not all of us. And there's an opportunity for all of us to do better if we want to, right? Outside of anybody that is mentally disabled or physically disabled, right? For the most part, all of us have an opportunity to do better if we so choose.
Yeah, it's usually always like there's two extremes. So you got one extreme here, and you got, you know, one good one and then one negative one. Right. And the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
And so I just try to pick out the middle and then put something together for yourself. And people will be surprised. I'll say this. I know we're probably wrapping up, but I'll say this. I think it's advantageous for people who haven't really got, you know, their motor running yet to put themselves in a position where they have to, meaning like you have no out. A lot of this is contrary to what people believe. Some people believe staying at a job and trying to do side hustles for the next 20 years. Some people believe in that. That could work for some people. Yeah. But I think for a lot of people, they need to be forced into being successful. So meaning, yeah, you can go to the gym and work out. You know, you can push the weights around a little bit. But if you get a personal trainer, or if you're part of one of those boot camps where you have to lose a ton of weight in, you know, 60 days or one of those types of things, those things really push you, and you'll be surprised how far you go. You have no way out. Yeah. Right. And so putting yourself in a position where you have to fight out, or you basically die, or you ain't going to be able to pay your rent or whatever. You'll be surprised what you put together in a very short period of time.
Right.
So I just say that.
And it's also amazing because you brought a point up too, Diamond Dave, that accountability partners, right? People that are working with you will help to push you to that next level. And you be surprised, right? Wealth really is a team sport. You just got to make sure you get the right people on your team. And that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
My big thing is real estate. Y'all know all roads lead to real estate. I'll be beating it
All
over the
roads
head.
lead to real estate.
But if 60% of us are renters and we don't own a lot of businesses, we're liquid money to somebody out there. And I've been in a big thing that happened at was it FinCon one year? I think it was FinCon one year. No disrespect, they're very diverse. We had a guy now. There was a girl up there talking about Warzone manager, and everybody was laughing. And she basically was talking about she owns houses in war zones and how there's drug dealers in her houses. And there was a guy outside rapping in front of her house. And everybody in the panel is laughing. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm sick. Because I'm like, I know who she's talking about. And everybody tried to play it off. And same thing with Bigger Pockets. When Lisa Phillips came out talking about buying $30,000 houses, people were like, those are dog houses. Those are crap houses. Those are pieces of S. Lisa Phillips, black woman, then bought multiple 30K houses, doing well, successful. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, somebody else picked up her stuff and shellacked it a little bit more and talked about it. Now we have him out there popular. And it just made me sick because I go, the roads that lead to wealth are real estate and land.
Business.
And business. Again, the three ways historically over the past 200 years of America has been real estate, stocks, and business. So I'm glad people want to be musicians. No problem. I'm glad people want to do shiny business on the internet and Instagram and Amazon, FBA, and all the other stuff and transportation. But guess what? You got to buy real estate. It's just you don't get outside of it. And people keep saying, "Oh, Ericka, inflation, the cost of houses." Y'all. It's gonna stagnate. It's gonna be stagflation if nothing else. Because I'm here in Austin, I'm thinking any moment now, can we come down on them prices? And I've looked around, and guess what the data's showing? They stop right about 400,000. They ain't getting no lower. So if you a couple, you can make it. You can get in that house and be good to go. But if not, you can be renting your whole life. I mean, the math adds up that we are giving billions of dollars to people every year. I know old historic white families in North Carolina who don't even like black people, and all their rental properties are in black neighborhoods. I see countless stories in Atlanta where racist, white supremacist racist groups own segments of this neighborhood is full of older black people, giving their retirement checks to people. So the documentary did a good job. I'm glad they put Don Peoples in the beginning part of it.
I liked it. I thought
it was a good job.
And I'm cool with Don. They had a diverse swath of people, and I'm cool with that.
They had a married couple. Wife was dark skinned, whatever. Everybody's like, one of the things people point out, she's not a boss chick. She's so nice. I'm like, because business is normal for them. A lot of people are in this, all these people are being boss chicks. I'm like, no, they're not. They go in an industry where people are a-holes to them and they got a little ego on them. So what? Majority of these people, if they're home married, they are not acting like this. Let me see here.
You don't necessarily have to be nasty to be a boss chick.
You don't. And I just know too many people growing up who moms had small businesses. And I'm like, y'all just ain't been around nobody who owns businesses.
That's true.
It's true. But it's not what you make, it's what you keep, y'all. It's what you invest.
But that number is easier. It's easier to do if you really get your mind around it.
Man, listen. I think Tech Tuesday, we're bringing back Tech Tuesdays this week because I'm taking a series of tests, just not to show off on people like, see, y'all took that test, it wasn't that hard, but in a way to be like, y'all, it's not really that hard.
What test we taking?
We got a couple of choices: CompTIA A, Security Plus, and one other one.
Oh, I used to be A+ certified.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to be Microsoft certified engineer as well. So maybe I'll take some too. I'll jump back in tech.
Just to show people. And then also I want to see the phone ring and answer the phone and be like, yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the offer? So Dave said, somebody said, yeah, Dave, we got to burn those boats.
Yep, burn the boat. It's actually in 33 Strategies of War. Posted a little clip about it not too long ago. Kind of got overlooked. But it's always the ones that are like really good that like are more important that get overlooked. But yeah. That's what I'll say about that one. 33 Strategies of War.
People say they weren't impressed. And again, you got to think about it. These are German folks coming into your country making a documentary. Now, would I love to see a documentary with the Robert brothers and all these other people we named? Of course. Someone said go ahead.
Like you said, they did a better job than a lot of the biased and racist media does here. So
Germans love us. If y'all ain't never been to Germany, you'd be like, sir, please get out of my face. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nix, for the $10 super chat. Yes, equities, businesses, property, land, new honors, chat, high tech. Yeah. I get it. I thank y'all for commenting. I thank y'all for coming out here too.
Yeah, Mr. Nix, that's what I'm looking into next is teching anything that I'm doing now. So I'm kind of wheels are turning. I want to technify. I'm going to make up a word now. Technify anything I'm thinking about.
Listen, somebody said, what's the name of the documentary? It's DW's America's Black Upper Class. 1 in 50, again, y'all, ending the show, 1 in 50 upper Black middle class in America, second largest group of millionaires in America. Can you hold up that book one more time, Ellis, for that Maggie Anderson? We didn't get to show her in the thing. She is a woman who spent a year buying black grocery stores, black everything. Which we could probably do a better summary of the book. If you could give us a quick summary, Ellis, before we leave.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie Anderson's dope. Like I said, I've interviewed her several times. She spent the whole year, her and her family, buying black. Now, she normally buys black any other time, but she wanted to make it a point to buy black. And obviously, we're not talking about mortgage and car notes and things like that outside of utilities, but her hair salon, supermarket, things like that, she intentionally went and found black businesses. She searched for them. So she didn't say, hey, I can't find any black-owned businesses. She made it her job to go find black-owned businesses, right? And in the documentary, she was calling up her black doctor to make appointments for her children, right? All of these things we can be proactive about and make sure that we are directing our dollar to people that will support our community and our interests in the long run. So I think it's important. Plans Boot Camp. That's Michael Steve right there.
Yeah. He sends me delicious popcorn and other things from North Carolina. When I get back to NC, I'm going to go visit the store. Part I wanted to bring up is Mr. Ellis is busy right now in the middle of tax season and took off his time to come here. So I'd like you to acknowledge your tax business. Let everybody know real quick.
Well, I'm the founder of the Philly tax team. I don't just do taxes, but that's the majority of what I do. I'm moving big into IRS debt resolution as well. A lot of people have a lot of
people been talking
IRS
about that.
debt. Yeah. And if you ever hear those commercials, if you have more than $10,000 in IRS debt, give us a call. We can put you in this Fresh Start initiative. A lot of those are scams. People, please move. Please move
talk about that
wisely. Yeah, a lot of them are scams.
In another show. We'll talk about that in another show if you have time. I know you're busy, but I've heard more than one person talk about moving to resolution because of how the whole PPP and delayed payments and everything's happening for people the next couple of years.
And the IRS is hiring. So you know what? Let me say this. If anybody is in need of a job, right, the IRS is hiring. They're trying to hire 5,000 people.
Pocket watchers.
In the next 2 months. What do you mean? We talking about JT?
No, I'm talking about IRS workers. Our pocket watchers.
Yeah. I thought you was about to bring up the beef with EYL. Oh, good. But yeah, the IRS is trying to hire 5,000 people in the next 2 to 3 months. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for a job, even if it's just to get over for a short time, it's okay to go inside and get some money real quick. I know a lot of people with the whole Great Resignation doesn't want to get a job because of a lot of times poor work situations, but a lot of the stimulus money is coming to an end. And so it will behoove you to take advantage because the market is in your favor right now to get the job that, best suits you, you can be best qualified to get, because they're not picking rocket scientists for these 5,000 jobs.
They're not.
They're trying to get whoever they can get. They're trying to get bodies in the seats. And then the thing is, how can you get the door, get a couple of dollars and then you can bounce, or you can get a couple of dollars and figure out how to maneuver inside the system and make some more money.
For sure. And so, Mr. David Diamond, talk to us. What are some things you're doing in your business in the credit space and also in the credit funding space, and what are you doing in general?
A lot of credit repair, any type of item. Also going to be linking up, doing some offline stuff. Linking up with some companies, be it local or be it all around the country. So if you're a mortgage company or real estate company, you need a credit guy. We can handle your files. And then also just focusing on educating people on how this credit stuff works and how this funding stuff works. In a more straight to the point way where they can actually go use it and not mess around. No crazy stuff. No slap the line on and pray for the best. All this kind of stuff. I'm not doing that. If you see an ad for me saying that, it's just to sucker you in and then talk to you about actual finance. And then I shouldn't have said that out loud, but yeah, that's what we do. Love it. But yeah, we're kind of combining the online stuff and doing some offline stuff. I think people forget how powerful offline is too. You can get a whole bunch of stuff done just by picking up the phone and calling. I started this by picking up the phone, calling people. So, picking the phone, dial. You do a lot of stuff with that too, not just online.
Yeah. I mean, so a big thing I want y'all to understand is this year we'll be having the Classic Climb Houston event, Classic Climb Boat Party, and then I'm going to try to host some type of event during Afrotech, because Afrotech has relocated from the Bay in Oakland and San Francisco to Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Now the founder's living in Nashville, Tennessee, because I think she got that boyfriend, but also her family's from there. But it will be headquartered here for a week, November 13th through 17th. Y'all, I will try my best to come up with some events, and I'm gonna try my best to get a sponsored spot inside the building, because I find that we need to be spearheading this hard. And I think you're gonna see a lot of Black people come to Austin the next couple of years to work in tech, because that is where the drift. I mean, just income, open doors. Like, you want to go where the door is open. We talked about IRS, but you want to go where the door is open for the next couple of years, because when they really finally get those HB1 visas back up and running, baby,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It ain't nothing but Indian restaurants popped open in the past 3 years. 42 in 1 year opened up in this area because they're preparing themselves. They are coming. So, and honestly, I'm meeting women that make 150, 160, 170, 130, and they be Black. They be Black here, right? They exist. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this made sense to y'all. And both of y'all will be doing some future shows talking about, David Diamond. We're gonna talk about that PPP and then funding in a little bit in the future. And Mr. Ellis, we have some combos on a few different topics coming up. So we got to hit them.
Looking forward to it.
But thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm gonna probably have to chop it a little bit, because Skynet ain't gonna play. But thank you all for being here. This is your girl Ericka, Classy Climb Blog. Hey, tell everybody where they can find y'all on social media real quick.
You can find me the Finance Rebel on YouTube. You can find me there all day long, every day.
Diamond Cut Media on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. TikTok's not just for little kids.
All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.